3 holy ways God aligns you with your soulmate. Biblical wisdom for the waiting heart. You've been praying, waiting, wondering, maybe even doubting. You look around, and it seems like everyone else is finding their person, getting married, starting families, living the kind of love story you've been hoping for. Meanwhile, you're left with questions no one seems to answer. Where is my person, God? Did I miss it? Am I doing something wrong? It's easy to feel overlooked. It's easy to believe God is silent. But let me tell you something. God is not absent. He's not ignoring your prayers. He's not late. He's working, even now, behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet see. See, when it comes to your soulmate, God doesn't operate according to our expectations. He doesn't send neon signs or dramatic moments with background music. He moves quietly, intentionally, and with eternal purpose. And while you're busy wondering when it'll happen, God might already be unfolding the answer in a way so subtle, so ordinary, that you don't even realize it. This message isn't just about love. It's about timing, trust, and transformation. Because before God brings you into a relationship that carries purpose, He first prepares your heart to carry that purpose. And when He introduces you to the one He's chosen, you'll see every delay had direction, every disappointment had purpose, and every moment was leading you exactly where He intended. Let's talk about how God introduces you to your soulmate, without you even realizing it. Part 1. God prepares you before He presents them. There's a deep truth that many overlook when they ask God for a soulmate. Before God brings someone into your life to walk with you, He will take time to walk with you alone. Not because He wants to withhold love from you, but because He wants to build something within you. A relationship rooted in God's purpose requires a foundation that only He can lay. And that foundation is often formed in the hidden place, in the quiet seasons, in the waiting. God doesn't just send you a person. He prepares you for partnership. He doesn't rush what carries eternal purpose. You may feel like you're ready. You may believe you've waited long enough. But God sees what you can't. He knows the weight of what you're asking for. A soulmate isn't just someone to share life with. They are someone who will walk with you through battles, through assignments, through spiritual warfare, through moments of joy and seasons of pruning. And if the person He has for you is meant to align with your calling, then that relationship cannot be built on emotional readiness alone. It must be built on spiritual maturity. That's why God often begins by working on you. He deals with the hidden places. He brings healing to the wounds you've tried to forget. He exposes the parts of you that still carry rejection, fear, or a need for validation. Why? Because what you don't allow God to heal in singleness will often surface in marriage. You can hide brokenness from people, but you can't hide it from covenant. And God in His love will never send you into covenant still carrying chains. Maybe that's why this season feels so uncomfortable. Maybe that's why you're not seeing the open doors you expected. Because God is tilling the ground of your heart. He's breaking up the hard soil. He's removing the weeds of past relationships, the stones of insecurity, the roots of bitterness. He's not doing it to frustrate you. He's doing it to free you. Because love, real love, the kind God gives, is too sacred to be planted in unprepared soil. Look at Adam. Before he ever met Eve, he had an assignment. He had a relationship with God. He walked in his identity. He wasn't pacing the garden, searching for a spouse. He was walking in purpose. He was already whole. He was already aligned with God. That's when God said, "It is not good for man to be alone." Not because Adam was lonely, but because he was ready. And when you are walking in your purpose, rooted in God, healed from your past, and filled with peace in your singleness, that's when you are in position for God to present someone to you. So many people think love will fix what's broken. But another person was never meant to complete you. That's God's job. The person He brings won't fill the voids in your heart. They'll walk beside you as you both pursue the one who already has. That's why the preparation process matters. It teaches you how to love yourself without compromise, how to trust God without conditions, and how to recognize the difference between emotional hunger and spiritual discernment. You may be in a season of stillness, of quiet, of delay, but God is doing something in that delay. He's protecting you from premature connections. He's keeping you from entanglements that would distract you from your purpose. And most importantly, He's preparing you for a relationship that will glorify Him, not just gratify you. He knows what you need, and more importantly, He knows when you're ready. So don't despise the preparation. Don't rush through it. Let God finish the work. Let Him build character. Let Him renew your mind. Let Him show you who you are before someone else tries to tell you. Because when God finally presents that person, when your paths align in His perfect timing, you'll see why He had to take so long. You'll understand why He had to pull you aside, why He had to prune, why He had to heal. And in that moment, you won't just be grateful for the person God sends. You'll be grateful for the process that made you ready for them. Because real love isn't just about finding the right person. It's about becoming the person who's ready to love God's way. And God will always prepare you before He presents them. Always. Part 2. God crosses your paths in unexpected ways. When God is the author of your story, He doesn't follow the predictable route. He doesn't operate by human timelines or cultural formulas. He doesn't need a dating app, a perfect social circle, or a 5-step plan. God's introductions are rarely packaged in the way you imagine. Instead, they're often hidden inside moments that feel random, inconvenient, even disruptive. But heaven's fingerprints are all over them. You may think meeting your soulmate will be obvious. Maybe you're expecting a spark, a sign, something cinematic. But the way God works is much deeper than a feeling. Divine connections don't always look divine at first. Sometimes they look like a delayed flight, a rejected opportunity, a new job, a painful transition. What feels like life falling apart is often God putting things together in the background. Think about Ruth. Her story began with tragedy. She lost her husband. She left her homeland. She followed Naomi into a foreign land with no promises, no guarantees. She wasn't chasing romance. She was chasing obedience. And while she was simply being faithful to what was in front of her, she walked right into the field of Boaz. Not by luck, not by coincidence, but by divine alignment. The Bible says, as it turned out, she found herself working in a field belonging to Boaz. That phrase, as it turned out, is powerful, because what looked accidental to Ruth was intentional in heaven. God had already gone ahead of her. He used her faithfulness, her humility, her obedience, as the pathway into her next chapter. And that same principle is true for you. God doesn't just drop someone into your life without first ordering your steps to intersect. The person He has for you might not even be in your current circle. You might not even see it coming. But that's the beauty of it. He is weaving your story behind the scenes. Your job isn't to chase a relationship. Your job is to stay in position. Serve where you are. Be faithful in the field. Trust that as you move in obedience, God is moving in orchestration. Some people miss divine connections because they're so focused on the how that they overlook the who. You may think your soulmate will look a certain way, live a certain lifestyle, come through a certain door, but God often uses unexpected doors to reveal His plan. You might meet them in the middle of a career shift, a ministry opportunity, or even a personal crisis. And when it happens, it won't feel forced. It will feel right. Not perfect, not flawless, but covered in peace. Rebecca met Abraham's servant while doing something ordinary, fetching water. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't planned, but she was in the right place, at the right time, with the right heart. That's what God looks for. Not perfection, not performance. Position, willingness, a heart, ready to respond when the moment comes. And when it does, you won't need to strive. You won't have to manipulate. You won't have to wonder if you missed it. You'll know. But don't forget this. Ruth wasn't standing still. She wasn't waiting at home for someone to knock on the door. She was in motion. She was active in obedience. That's what put her in the place where destiny could find her. Too many people are asking God to move while they remain stationary. But if you want God to order your steps, you have to be stepping, moving, growing, becoming, trusting. Sometimes, God will let certain doors close, not to punish you, but to redirect you. Maybe that relationship didn't work out because it was never meant to. Maybe that disappointment was the very thing that made room for divine appointment. What if the person you thought was the one was simply preparation for the one God was actually preparing? If you're in a season where nothing makes sense, where plans have fallen apart, where people have left and doors have shut, don't lose heart. That may be the exact place where God is setting the stage for divine introduction. The connection you're waiting for might not come through striving, but through surrender. Not through calculation, but through obedience. And when it happens, it won't just be a relationship, it will be a collision of purpose. A moment so undeniably orchestrated that you'll look back and say, only God could have written this. So keep walking, keep serving, keep becoming. God doesn't waste anything. Every delay has direction. Every step has purpose. And when the time is right, your paths will cross. Not because you forced it, but because heaven arranged it. God isn't asking you to figure out when or where. He's asking you to trust that He knows how. Part 3. God confirms their presence through purpose and peace. When God brings someone into your life, it won't just feel right emotionally, it will make sense spiritually. That's how He confirms His hand in a relationship. He doesn't only work through feelings, He speaks through alignment. Peace, purpose, and fruit. Real confirmation from God doesn't come through butterflies in your stomach. It comes when your spirit is calm, your mind is clear, and your purpose is strengthened. The world tells you to chase chemistry. God teaches you to pursue character. Chemistry can be found anywhere. You can feel attraction for someone who's completely wrong for you. But when someone is truly sent by God, they don't just capture your heart. They challenge your soul to grow. They make you better, not by fixing you, but by encouraging you to walk deeper with the one who can. That's the kind of love God designs. One that doesn't distract you from Him, but leads you closer to Him. Think about Isaac and Rebekah. Abraham's servant didn't just look for a beautiful woman. He prayed for a sign. He asked God for confirmation. And when Rebekah showed up, she didn't just meet the request. She exceeded it. That's how God works. He confirms through clarity. He honors those who seek His voice. He doesn't leave you guessing in chaos. The one God sends will be covered in peace, even if the process takes time. There may be challenges, there may be stretching, but the presence of God will be unmistakable. A godly relationship won't require you to compromise your values. It won't pull you away from your convictions. If you find yourself shrinking your faith to make something work, that's not from God. The right relationship will inspire you to grow in your identity, not hide from it. God won't send someone who loves you in ways that force you to stop loving Him. That's not divine. That's distraction. The enemy knows how to disguise counterfeit connections with the right rights and temporary feelings. But God's voice never produces confusion. His will is marked by peace. Look at Mary and Joseph. When Mary received the most life-changing news of her life, Joseph didn't run. He didn't abandon her because it was complicated. He stayed. He covered her. He aligned with the assignment, even when it was hard to understand. That's the fruit of someone who's called to walk with you. Faithfulness. Even when the journey is uncertain, you don't need someone who only stands with you in the easy seasons. You need someone who can carry God's calling alongside you, even when it costs them comfort. Some of the strongest indicators that someone is your God-ordained partner are found in the unseen things. Do they bring you peace, or do they bring confusion? Do they encourage you to pursue your calling, or do they distract you from it? Do you pray more, trust more, grow more when they're in your life, or less? A real soulmate doesn't just make you feel good, They make you feel safe in the presence of God. You can dream without fear. You can fail without shame. You can grow without judgment, because love, when it's from God, isn't based on performance. It's based on grace and shared vision. Not everyone who looks right is sent by God. The enemy knows how to dress up temptation to look like destiny. That's why you have to pay attention to the fruit. Not just how the person makes you feel, but what the relationship produces. Does it bring out the best in you? Does it align with what God has spoken over your life? Or does it create chaos, uncertainty, fear, and compromise? God never builds on a shaky foundation. If the relationship is causing more confusion than clarity, take a step back. God's will is never rushed, never frantic, never manipulative. It's steady, it's strong, it's sure. Look at Priscilla and Aquila. They weren't just married, they were partners in purpose. They taught the word together. They built the church together. That's what a kingdom relationship looks like. Not just romance, but responsibility. Not just attraction, but assignment. When God brings two people together, it's never just for themselves, it's for His kingdom. That relationship should make you more effective, more focused, more surrendered, not less. You don't need a relationship to prove your worth. You don't need a person to validate your future. But when God does bring someone, and it's the right time, the right purpose, the right connection, you'll know. Because peace will be your compass. Purpose will be your confirmation, and your walk with God will not decrease. It will deepen. So stop chasing compatibility and start seeking alignment. Ask God to lead you, not just to someone who fits your preferences, but someone who fits your calling. Ask Him to confirm, not just with signs and feelings, but with fruit and peace. And when He answers, you'll see the difference. You won't have to force it. You won't have to beg for it. You won't have to wonder, because when God is in it, everything will flow in His time, by His hand, and for His glory. A final word from the heart. So often we search for love with anxious hearts, wondering when it will happen, how it will happen, or if it ever will. We measure time by our own expectations and compare our stories to others, forgetting that God doesn't work by human clocks. But if there's one truth you hold on to after hearing this message, let it be this: God's timing is never late, His plan is never random, and His love for you is uncertain. He is not just writing a love story for your life. He is writing a purpose story, a story that includes love, yes, but more importantly reflects His heart, His will and His glory. When God introduces you to your soulmate, it won't just be to satisfy your desire for companionship. It will be because you are both ready to carry something greater together than you could alone. He will prepare you before He presents them, not to punish you, but to protect you. He will cross your paths in ways you didn't expect, so that you learn to trust Him more than your own understanding. And He will confirm the connection, not just with feelings, but with fruit, peace, and alignment to your calling. That's how God works. Not in confusion, but in clarity. Not in striving, but in surrender. So if you're still waiting, keep becoming. Stay in motion. Stay in purpose. Let God finish the work in you. Because when it's time, you won't have to chase it, question it, or force it. The relationship He ordains will not only reflect His love, it will deepen your love for Him. And in the end, that's the kind of relationship that lasts. Not because it's perfect, but because it's rooted in the One who is. Trust Him. He's not withholding anything from you. He's aligning everything for you. And when the time comes, you'll look back and realize that every season of waiting was worth it, because the love He gives never arrives empty. It arrives on time, full of purpose, and sealed by His hand.